What's up everybody, Maik Wiedenbach coming at you, talking about muscles that don't develop. In my very sad case, my arms, okay? So part of it is genetics, because as you can see, my bicep, there's a huge gap, and also my triceps, they insert very high, which means I just have less real estate, so my potential for huge arms just is not that big, okay? So I need to maximize what I can. So the first thing to do is, in general, with any muscle, know your anatomy, okay? For whatever it's worth, Arnold took an anatomy class when he came here. So the bicep does this and finishes here, right? Whereas the tricep does this motion primarily. So both muscles, or any muscle, they have an insertion. For the bicep, it's here, and an origin that's here. For the tricep, insertion is here, origin here. In order to train them, you have to create maximum force between the two of them, meaning bringing them together at maximum force. So that can only work if you pick exercises that work for you. So in my case, some stuff just didn't work. For instance, the bench dips, right? So here, my insertion always moves, and it's also very harsh on the shoulder, so I can't it. Or the almighty barbell curl. I know Arnold did it, blah, 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 but here's the thing. So, when a barbell curl, like I have very long forearms, so the stress is mainly on my wrist and not so much on my bicep, okay? Also, the barbell curl does not allow me to do this, which is what flexes the bicep. So it's just not a good exercise. Sorry, Arnold. So instead, I have to think, what can I do that works for me? So now if you think about it, so the triceps, right? The motion is like so. So needless to say, a press down with the cable that would work like so, that'd be a good idea, no? Because I can actually move naturally and I can go by the body. So for my biceps, I could be doing a curl on the cable where I have the ability to curl up and out and I have the weight even. Now, no matter what I do, only one end of the muscle can move. So in this case, it would be my origin, but not my insertion. I could also do a dumbbell curl. That would be something like coming from here to here, no higher, because any higher, I'm pulling it toward me and it'd be more of a front raise. So now I've mastered my anatomy. So the next step is stability. So all too often, you're seeing somebody, doing press downs, something like this, right? Well now, your insertion and your origin are in motion. You can't create maximum force, it's not possible. So I recommend, if your gym has a machine where you're tucked in, that's fine. Or if not, like this gym, you sort of kneel down and get that squeeze, right? So for biceps, by the same token, you have somebody doing preacher curls or what have you, and it looks like something like this, right? Well, again, now your insertion moves and your origin. Well, that can't be. So you tuck in, you drop your shoulders back, and now only the origin moves, thereby creating max force, right? So that's step 3, stability. So when you have figured that out, and you master the motion of that particular muscle, you can think one step further, which is the strength curve, right? So the strength curve, there's the stretch position, mid-range, and contracted of the muscle. We love mid-range, right? It's benching, pulling, because we're strong. Like the bookends, think like leg extensions or sissy squats, not a fan, right? But if we train all of it, the bookends get better, everything gets better, right? So for the bicep, it's actually pretty straightforward. You could be setting up an incline curl just like so, getting a good stretch. And by the way, people always set the bench way too far back. That's killer on your calf, so don't do that, okay? And then from there on, you could be going into your mid-range, which could be, you know, your regular standing curl. Again, thumbs under, curl till about midpoint, and curl outward. Could also be done seated. Could also be a hammer curl, you know, whatever it is that you want to do. And then for the contraction, you could be doing, this one I prefer the cable, because the dumbbell concentration curl is still too much of a front raise. So you could be doing something like this. You finish all the way behind the head, right? So that's it for bicep. For the triceps, I set this up. It's all free weights, but you know, you can adjust like depending on your gym or whatever. So for the stretch, I find skull crushers, they're a bit harsh on the elbow. So think of doing a pullover and then move the elbow and pull back up. Pull over, elbow, pull back up. Pull over, elbow. Okay, so that would be the stretch. It could also be done like an, you know, overhead cable setup with the long rope. For power, mid-range, whatever you want to call it, I have this beautiful California press with chains. So that would be shoulders tucked, and then you're coming back up till about here, going like a semi-arch. You wouldn't lock out like this, hits your tris way too hard. So you come back, you don't touch either, by the way, because that's lazy. And then for contraction, you know, you can do a dumbbell kickback, but please do it right. So it's not like some sort of a mule kick that you always see in the gym. So you tuck the elbow, you're pretty upright, and you only move like this. You're standing this low, then you're doing more shoulder work than triceps. So that would be the strength curve. Now mind you, none of this will help you if you haven't figured out execution. So now from there on, you could say, how do I up it a little bit? So there will be some intensity techniques. So one could be, say for your curls, you're curling, you fatigue, you have some small reps at mid-level, and then you could be hitting a side chest or front double bi. By the same token, triceps, you're doing your set, you tire out mid-level, and then it could be a simple lockout or side try. So that's the basic checklist. But people, I know this is Facebook. You gotta go anatomy first. If you don't figure out your anatomy, none of this will matter, okay? I would wager that 80% of all reps in America are wasted because of sloppiness. So get your anatomy, pick right exercises, create stability, and then worry about the rest. Maik out.